welcome to this week's episode of Told Her, the podcast. I'm your host, Devyn Penny. I'm a certified self-development coach and author, and I'm here to have open, honest conversations about things that are going on in my life, things that are maybe going on in your life, what I wish I knew in my 20s, what I know now, and hopefully can add some value to your day, your week, your life. This week, I want to talk about getting unstuck. I hear this a lot. I hear women in their 20s say that they are stuck, that they don't know what to do next, that they're unsure of how to make decisions, how to make the right decision, that they don't feel like they're equipped with the tools necessary to deal with certain things in their day-to-day life or in their future. And it's a shitty feeling. It's shitty to feel like you're stuck. So I'm going to do an exercise with you that I do with my clients when they're in this state of being, and an exercise that I came up with years ago because I was in that state of being. And sometimes I am still. Sometimes there are weeks that go by where I feel like, wow, what the hell am I doing? And really, what am I going to do next? But before we do that exercise, I want to reassure you that even when you're feeling stuck, that time is always moving you forward, and you don't have to do a lot to move forward. It just naturally happens. It's the progression of time and of life. And I know that sometimes that feels scary and kind of out of our control, but that for the most part, it should be a relief that there isn't so much that you constantly have to be doing in order to move forward. Time is always moving us forward. It's never moving us backward. The thoughts that we have can sometimes keep us in the past, and it's wonderful to be present, but it's also wonderful to be positively futuristic and to really think about what you want your life to be like, not in a way that takes you out of the moment, but in a way that gives you restoration of hope and an understanding of what you are moving forward towards. So that's first and foremost. And I remind my clients of this often because I think that, again, it feels sometimes like when we're in this stuck state of mind that the whole world is stuck around us, and the world is moving forward and you are moving forward, and everything is going to end up on your perfect timeline in exactly the moment that it needs to happen. So first, knowing that, I think, is just a little bit of peace, a little bit of solace, and really giving yourself an opportunity to be okay with thinking about the future in a positive way. I say this all the time because it's true. We fear success far more than we fear failure. There is always this notion that it can't possibly be this good. We're waiting for the other shoe to drop. Failure is easier in a lot of ways. It's easier and it's more accepted by society to be in failure than it is to be successful. And not to say that we don't accept successful people, of course, but the notion of being successful and staying successful are two different things. We don't oftentimes talk about the maintenance of what a successful life looks like. Once we get there, what we have to do in order to maintain that success is unknown, and we fear the unknown. So giving yourself an opportunity to lean into what could be in the best way possible, what a successful life actually does look like for you, is a way to help you kind of move forward, and is usually the catalyst of how to get out of this stuck sort of feeling. As I just move my shoulders like this, the second thing that I will say before we get into this exercise is that this feeling of stuckness, even though it's an emotional and mental state, it can also be a physical state. And a lot of times we need to find a way to shake things out of us, to get stagnation moving and to get the blood flowing, etc. So figuring out a way that you like to move, that you like to physically express yourself, is imperative just for your overall wellness. And again, will help you kind of get out of this stuck state. There is a notion that as adults, we're not supposed to move freely and do what we need to do in order to get stuck feelings out of us. But it's really important, and it really requires your attention and energy to physically be able to move through blockages as much as you are emotionally and mentally able to move through those things. So firstly, knowing that you are always moving forward and that it is okay, it is safe to think about the best case scenario, to dream up a big life that feels exciting in front of you and not daunting. And secondly, being able to give yourself a chance to physically move through the feeling of being stuck. Two very important things. So now let's get into the exercise. This is part of what I do in the first couple sessions with clients, just in general. And then as needed, as time goes on, when people do feel like they're changing directions, when they need a reminder of their best life and what that looks like to them, and most importantly, how that feels to them. So this is a feelings exercise, and it's very easy to do, but you're going to need a pen and a paper. Of course, you can always work through this in your brain, but I find it really important to have the words that you're thinking of written out onto a piece of paper where you can physically see them and separate them from your internal logic. So firstly, I want you to close your eyes and take a deep breath if you need to. You can also put your hands on your heart. You can put your hands on your lap. Steady yourself wherever you are and start to think about what it would feel like if you were living without any of the stress that you have now, without any of the worry that you have now, without any of the quote unquote problems or issues or hurdles or obstacles that you're coming up against now. What would it look like for you to be living in complete and total bliss? Your happiest place. You feel the best, you look the best, you are the best, you're doing something you love, you enjoy the people around you, you enjoy yourself. Give yourself a minute to really think about what that would feel like for you. There is no right answer. It's going to be different for everyone. And then come up with one adjective to describe the feeling. I would encourage you to look beyond happy, because happiness is going to naturally be a byproduct of whatever this feeling is. For some people, it will be peace. For some people, it will be safety. For some people, it will be excitement. There are no limits to your one word, but it is important that you choose one for now. Once you have that word and open your eyes, come back to where you're seated. Give yourself a minute to write the word down on the piece of paper and then use it in a sentence. If I lived a, insert adjective here, life, that would mean that, fill in the blank. For example, if I were to live a peaceful life, that would mean that I didn't feel the weight of the world on my shoulders all the time, and I was able to truly rest when I needed to. It can be anything along any lines. There are no rules. Just thinking of what that means for you. Because again, we all feel things differently, and different levels of success and happiness mean different things to different people. So there is no universal definition for any of these feelings as far as I'm concerned when it pertains to your individual life. So figuring out what that word means for you. And then on the paper, I want you to draw one vertical line and one horizontal line across the top of it. On the left-hand side, write present, and on the right-hand side, write future. Then I want you to look back on that sentence. On the left-hand side, write 3 to 5 things, at least 3, that make you feel that way in your present day. For example, I feel peaceful when I have my morning coffee alone. That's one thing. The next thing would be, I feel peaceful when I meditate. That's another example. The third thing could be, I feel peaceful when I take my dog on a walk in the afternoon. So examples like that, very small, tangible things that you do when you truly feel encapsulated by that feeling that you're looking for. If that's excitement, maybe it's in present day, I feel excited when I'm going to try a new restaurant. It doesn't have to necessarily be a daily thing, but it definitely has to be something that you do pretty often. So if it's not every day, it's close to. And then on the right-hand side, under the future, I want you to write 3 to 5 things that you think would give you this same feeling, that you're not necessarily doing now, but that you think would bring in a sense of, again, in this example, peace. So if you are someone who feels like it would be peaceful to get a regular massage, or to visit the water more often, or to have a phone call with someone who makes you feel safe and secure and, again, at peace. Whatever you feel like your life is missing in this moment of seeking whatever feeling you're looking for, write down 3 to 5 action-oriented things that you can do to achieve that feeling, or that you think will achieve that feeling. I want you to flip the piece of paper over, and I want you to write 3 columns. Write every day. In the middle column, write every week. And on the far right column, every month. Then I want you to look back on the things that you wrote down that make you feel this way that you would like to ideally feel. Again, in this case, it's peace. So all of the things, whether there are 6 or 10 things that make you feel peaceful in your present, or that you think would make you feel peaceful in the future, I want you to categorize those things into the things you can do every day, the things you can do every week, and the things you can do every month. Then this is the hardest part, actually doing those things, committing enough to yourself to know that the ultimate goal is peace, again, in this case and in this example, and that you are willing to do what you need to do in order to get there. So being committed to yourself comes with this understanding that you are actually going to be responsible for your future and for the outcome of your future, and take responsibility for the way that you want to feel, and being able to harness more and more of that and cultivate more and more of that. So a lot of my clients keep these things in their notes on their phone. So their weekly to-dos, their daily to-dos, their monthly to-dos, and either check them off or add to them. I find that it's really helpful that once you do one of these things, that you write down how it made you feel, to make sure that you actually are getting that sense of peace or excitement, safety, security, etc. And really making sure that your actions are aligning with your thoughts and your desires. So this is, again, a great exercise to just get yourself out of that stuck feeling. It gives you something to look forward to. It gives you something to kind of monitor and track. And it really, above all else, gives you an opportunity to feel the way that you want to be feeling instead of the way that you're currently feeling. So giving yourself time to sit with this exercise, to reflect on this exercise, and then to actually carry it out and create action steps around moving towards the life that you want to live, and not focusing so much on the external circumstances and situations that are out of your control, but giving yourself control of the narrative, giving yourself control of knowing that if you want to feel X, Y, and Z way, that you are going to be the person who's going to make that happen for yourself. My clients and I use this as a tool to hold them accountable and to reference when we're moving forward and making decisions. Does this align with the way that you want to feel in your life? Does this decision seem like it will bring you more peace, closer to peace? Does this decision make you excited for the future and make you feel like it's something that is helpful and not hurtful. So it's a good reference point. It's a good way to just kind of get yourself back into more of a routine, get yourself on track, give yourself something to look forward to, and to get unstuck. I found that with my clients, this is a really powerful exercise. A lot of times we don't ever really sit down and think about not only what we want our future to look like, but what we want it to feel like. And ultimately, that's what we're going for. We want to feel a certain way. Everything can be in place. We hear this all the time. You can have the most success, you can have the most money, you can be the most beautiful, you can have the perfect life, you can have the perfect children, the perfect marriage. But at the end of the day, if you do not feel good in any of this, none of it will matter. So getting yourself to a place where you're feeling good and where the external circumstances don't matter as much as your internal reality is a really powerful place to be. And again, is controlled by you and only you. So do this exercise. Let me know how it feels, how you feel, and hold yourself accountable to being committed to living a life that really works for you, and that beyond that, you really enjoy and love. Have a good day.